This kid look like a typical suburb kid. Wanted to run to the streets. Look at this. Outstanding AB honor roll child. My son would never. That's Conrad. Yeah, sir. What's up, squad? What's up, gang? It's your boy D Mills, aka Prisoner Mills, aka Inmate Mills. Y'all like the fit? Y'all like the fit? I said, look it, man, we going to jail today. Anyway, y'all, we got dangerous kids reacting to a life sentences. Let's go ahead and check it out.
I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go to trial. And if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there. That's what I'm tempted to do.
Hold on, what is going on?
You knew not to keep pounding your fist on that pillow with that little baby's head there. That little baby had to be terrified.
I didn't mean to kill Oscar. Actually, I really didn't. I really think I did that. I didn't mean to hurt him.
It's too late now. Don't be crying now.
Chisholm.
He is pure evil, and evil can never be rehabilitated.
You must imprison this killer for the rest of his life.
A ninth grader who's in court for murdering his 24-year-old school math teacher, Colleen Ritzer, on October 22nd, 2013. Colleen was known for her dedication to her students, and on that fateful day, she had asked Chisholm to stay after school for additional lessons. Little did she know that her kindness would lead to a horrific end. Chisholm came prepared with a knife, a change of clothes, and gloves. He followed her into a restroom where he took her life.
That's school shooter vibes right there, bro. You weird as fuck. Wow. You actually plan to do this shit. You're dedicated. Wow.
Brutality didn't stop there. He robbed, assaulted, and abused her. Afterward, he disposed of her lifeless body by placing it in a garbage bin and dragging it behind the school. In a futile attempt to cover up
you do this on camera, like, nigga, we see you. Every move you making, we see you.
Crimes. Chisholm went into town and used Ritzard's credit card to buy a movie ticket. However,
walking through the hall so smooth, like nothing happened.
Next morning, he still had Colleen's blood on his hands. While the magnitude of Chisholm's crimes is daunting, his courtroom behavior will leave.
Look at his face, bro. He don't give a fuck, bro. He's twisted. Keep him behind bars, Judge.
You in disbelief. Philip Chisholm faced multiple charges, including murder, aggravated rape, and armed robbery. Throughout the court proceedings, Chisholm displayed a shocking lack of remorse, even as the victim's father
he don't
read
give
his
no
statement.
fucks.
The killer knew exactly what he was doing and has never shown remorse.
His demeanor and actions demonstrated a complete disregard for the gravity of his crimes and the immeasurable pain he had inflicted on Colleen Ritzer's family, even in the face of a touching tribute by Colleen's brother.
Put this animal behind bars to the maximum possible sentence. Do not give this coward the opportunity to shatter another family's lives.
Chisholm remained cold and unrepentant. His attorneys claimed that he was mentally unstable. That didn't work. In February
that ain't gonna work.
2016,
Court will impose the mandatory life sentence for the murder of Colleen Ritzer.
Hey, that boy going to big boy jail. That tough act ain't gonna work now, boy. They finna tear your ass up alive, man. No
And
cap.
set a parole eligibility date of 25 years, the highest level our law allows.
However,
As soon as they hear about what you did, it's over with.
As an effect of a mental illness, the same can't be.
Pause. What? Run that back. Run that back.
5 years, the highest level our law allows.
However, while Chisholm's reaction could certainly be dismissed as an effect of a mental illness,
Fuck out
the
of
same
here.
can't be said for the case of 19-year-old Brandon Spencer, who allegedly started shooting at a crowded Halloween party on the campus of the University of Southern California in Los Angeles.
I'm sorry for what happened to your honor, but I think you like in prison.
4 individuals were
You gonna
injured in the
have to,
shooting.
my boy.
Fortunately, there were no fatalities.
That if you are so intent on killing someone that you're willing to shoot them and at the same time open fire into a crowd.
Following the shooting,
Yeah, that's senseless as hell, bro. Like, I understand you trying to get whoever, but the crowd, what they do? You ain't beefing with the crowd, you beefing with whoever you shooting at.
Spencer
involve
was
them.
detained by the Los Angeles Police Department for questioning. A couple of days later, he was charged with 4 counts of attempted murder. The
Sheesh.
prosecution argued during the trial that the shooting was the result of an ongoing feud between Spencer and a rival gang member, noting that Spencer himself was a documented and well-known gang member.
I'm not a bad person, but I made mistakes. But I'm not just some gangbanger that she tried to portray me as.
Despite the horrifying nature of Spencer's offenses, his actions during the trial managed to shock everyone present. Throughout the trial, Spencer maintained his innocence, but the jury disagreed. Spencer also pleaded his case. The judge sentenced Brandon Spencer to 40 years to life in prison for 4 counts of attempted murder. When Spencer heard his sentence, this was his reaction. However, while Spencer's behavior raised eyebrows, it's nothing.
Hey man, y'all gotta put them guns down. Get out them streets, man. It ain't safe out here, bro. For real. They don't play fair in the system, man. Just know that they don't play fair. Don't play with
The
it.
explosive actions of 15-year-old Conrad Schaer during their trial.
This was a 15-year-old who was out semi-automatic rifle shooting up.
Schaer shocked Osceola County when he and his friends began randomly shooting at the residence, resulting in the tragic death of 17-year-old
What's up, twin? We got the same jumpsuit on. What's up, twin?
Before the shootings, Schaer had persuaded his father to purchase a .45 caliber high-point carbine and 100 rounds of ammunition.
Oh,
he allegedly
wow.
took the gun from his house while his father was asleep, marking the beginning of the neighborhood's nightmare. Conrad Schaer and 3 of his friends, David Damas, Victoria Rios.
Hey, you should never give your kids any type of access of what you had, like guns and stuff. They shouldn't even know the code. They shouldn't have a key. They shouldn't even know where your guns are even located, bro. Kids be twisted and they like touching shit just to be touching shit. You feel me?
Juan Muriel terrorized the community for 2 weeks. They even invaded 22-year-old Eric Rupnarin's home and fatally shot him. During his trial, Schaer had this to say to the families of the victims.
15 at a time, I'm really sorry for the things I've done. And I know I did wrong, and I know my apologies don't mean nothing to you. And I know it ain't gonna change how you feel about me.
Families of Eric Rupnarin also seem to agree.
Eric was my grandson. He was my helper to me and my wife. At this time, my family and I had no intention to forgive the guilty because of such a heinous and brutal crime that was done to my grandson, Eric Rupnarin.
Schaer eventually pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder, with over 22 incidents of gunfire damaging homes and vehicles. He was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences.
This kid look like a typical suburb kid. Wanted to run to the streets. Look at this. Outstanding AB honor roll child. My son would never. That's Conrad. Yeah, Mom, you fucked up.
With the judge stating that if Schaer had been just 3 years older, he would have received the death penalty. However, Conrad Schaer isn't alone in their courtroom actions. Let's not forget the infamous incident involving 15-year-old Martis Fuller, who's facing charges including murder.
These boys be young as shit, boy. 15.
Doorway, and I looked at him and I said, "Oh my God, Martis." I said, "Please, you don't have to do this." And he looked at me and he said, "Yes, I do."
Fuller broke into his ex-girlfriend's house with a handgun. He fatally shot his ex-girlfriend in her bedroom while she was listening to
See
music.
what I mean, y'all? Like, you 15 with a gun. Where you know where you getting a gun from at 15? What?
Her mother, who rushed to the scene upon hearing the gunshots, confronted the assailant and was shot twice, but survived. During the trial, he showed little emotion. Fuller pleaded not guilty, but the jury ultimately found him guilty on 3 counts.
Yeah, they ain't going for that.
Find the defendant guilty of first-degree intentional homicide.
At his sentencing, Fuller, perhaps for the first time in the courtroom, displayed some emotion. However, he continued to assert his innocence and delivered a statement through his attorney, expressing his apologies to the family.
Mr. Fuller's prepared a statement that he asked that I read on his behalf. Martis writes, "Wholeheartedly, I wanted to write this giving my sincerest apologies to this family I once shared time and love with. Truthfully, I am sorry about the pain you've all suffered through this, but more importantly, the loss of my ex-girlfriend Kaylee that I loved too. So
Loved her so much you had to kill her, man. That's crazy. You shouldn't have even wrote that bullshit.
I am sorry. Despite the hatred that is against me, I still am sorry. But I have to continue to stand innocent because I am. And I know that I've barely showed emotion throughout my time, but in all honesty, it is because it's hard to have tears left to cry knowing my mom lost a son, one of her children too. But I am sorry, and I hope you all can eventually see in your hearts.
Oh, you should have thought about that before you went to somebody's doorstep trying to shoot somebody. Idiot. Like, your heart ain't broken that goddamn bad, I promise you. You can pick yourself up, man.
That I am not the person the media has made me out to be.
The judge, however, wasn't convinced that Fuller could do better in the future.
You are
That's
a very
tough.
dangerous and a damaged human being. So in the interest of protecting the public, acknowledging the seriousness of these acts, the court orders that on count 1, you are sentenced to life in prison without eligibility for extended supervision.
Despite the gravity of his sentence, Fuller appeared largely unaffected. However, as
he's affected. I promise you that. It's all in here. My man's just thinking hard as hell. You feel me? And just to think about it, look at him, bro. He did all that for a girl. He looks like an outstanding young man. You feel me? He looks like he can pull some hoes. All you had to do is go get another hoe, man. That's all you had to
we
do.
saw Fuller's unconcern with his sentence, it brings to mind the strikingly similar response of Jennifer Mee.
When I walked off, I was to the corner. I heard the first gunshot. After the first gunshot, I ran.
At 15, Jennifer Mee became popular as the Hiccup Girl due to her sudden bout of uncontrollable hiccups. She even appeared on shows and events. Eventually, she was cured, and her popularity ended. But Jennifer wasn't satisfied. She needed the fame, so she and her boyfriend, Lamont Newton, and another friend, Lauren Rayford.
These niggas are from the hood. Straight out the projects. Look at them, bro. Look at them. Lauren and Lamont. Y'all some hood niggas for real.
Set up a robbery with victims she had met online. The trio lured a 22-year-old man to a vacant home where they robbed and fatally shot him, taking $50 as the reward. As if Jennifer's offenses weren't enough, her demeanor in court will...
I didn't hear that right, man. Let's hear this again.
22-year-old man to a vacant home where they robbed and fatally shot him, taking $50 as the reward.
Like, I never understood. What's y'all point of robbing people? You ain't finna get nothing out of it. You feel me? You're going off an assumption. He might have some money. He looks like he got some money. Let's rob him. Then you get nothing but a jail sentence. Fucking idiot. Like, what?
As if Jennifer's offenses weren't enough, her demeanor in court will leave you dumbfounded. At 19 years old, she was arrested on charges of first-degree murder. During her trial, this recorded call she made to her mother while in detention was played for the jury.
Hello? Hi, Mama. Hello, Jennifer. What's going on? I'm in jail. Why are you in jail? From, murder in the first degree. Who'd you kill? I didn't kill nobody. It all went wrong, Mama. Who are you trying to kill, Jennifer? Nobody. It wasn't even supposed to happen like that, Mom.
Jennifer was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility.
Yeah, she's cooked.
Jennifer's co-defendants, Rayford and Newton, were also sentenced to life imprisonment for their roles in the murder. However, when emotions run high in court, the actions of Jennifer Mee and Alissa Bustamante leave us questioning sanity itself.
Was her throat cut? And Alissa said yes. And that's when the grandmother broke down and began crying.
Alissa Bustamante was a troubled 15-year-old girl who lived.
Yeah, she looked twisted. Look at her. She on some emo shit.
And Alissa said yes. And that's when the grandmother broke down and began crying.
Alissa Bustamante was a
Get
troubled
there.
15-year-old
Little
girl
evil little
who lived
kid.
with her grandparents and siblings in St. Martins, Missouri. On October 21st, 2009, Bustamante lured her 9-year-old neighbor, Elizabeth Olton, into the woods behind her house.
How old? I ain't hear that right.
Her 9-year-old neighbor, Elizabeth Olton,
9?
into the woods behind her house. She strangled, stabbed, and slit the throat of the innocent girl, then buried her in a pre-dug grave.
I just wonder what it would be like just to kill someone.
Off with her head, bro. Lock her up forever. Solitary. On me. What? Let's run that back. In
her house. She strangled, stabbed, and slit the throat of the innocent girl, then buried her in a pre-dug grave.
I just wonder what it would be like just to kill someone. See the life just drain out of someone. I wonder.
She then went to a church dance as if nothing had happened.
What?
I thought Bustamante's crimes were reprehensible. Brace yourself for her shocking conduct during the proceedings. The police found Olton's body 2 days later after Bustamante confessed to the murder. She was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal act.
Oh, she getting her ass beat when she get in jail. I ain't even gonna lie. But they gonna have a field day with her little ugly ass on me.
She pleaded guilty to a reduced charge of second-degree murder in exchange for avoiding a trial and a possible life sentence without parole. At her sentencing hearing, Bustamante apologized to Olson's family and said she regretted her actions. However, the judge was not moved by her remorse and sentenced her to life in prison with the possibility of parole for 5 years.
You need that.
She will be eligible for release in 2054 when she will be 60 years old.
Stupid ass mother. What? That's a 9-year-old kid. She couldn't even defend herself. You ugly bitch.
However, let's compare the jaw-dropping reaction of Bustamante to the astonishing behavior of 19-year-old Nikolas Cruz.
My name is Nick, and I'm going to be the next school shooter of 2018. My goal is at least 20 people with an AR-15 and a couple tracer rounds.
A gunman who carried out the deadliest high school shooting in U.S. history. Cruz killed 17 people and wounded 17 others at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida on February 14, 2018. He used a semi-automatic rifle that he had legally purchased a year earlier.
I came out and asked him, what are you going to do?
How old is this dude? How's he legally purchasing a gun?
Rifle, and the reply was, I go shooting with my friends on the weekends. I just want my own stuff.
Despite the horrifying nature of Cruz's offenses, his actions during sentencing managed to shock everyone.
He look older though.
Cruz was arrested and charged with 17
No,
counts
he
of
don't.
premeditated first-degree murder and 17
Big Dumbo ear ass nigga.
counts of attempted first-degree murder. He pleaded guilty to all the charges, admitting his responsibility for the massacre.
What's going on today, bro?
The demons, man.
Demons?
Voices.
Voices and demons?
Where's the voices? Where the f am I? Holy shit. What happened?
Shut up.
Yeah. You got me fucked up, little boy. You got me. You ain't finna play that stupid shit now.
The jury could not reach a unanimous verdict on whether to recommend the death penalty for Cruz. As a result, he was automatically sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for each of the 17 murders, as required by Florida law. He was also sentenced to an additional 34 life sentences for the attempted murders. At his sentencing, Cruz attempted an apology.
I am very sorry for what I did.
I don't want to hear nothing you got to say, man. I low-key get my ass up and go punch his ass in the fucking face. Y'all better hope y'all can catch me.
Live with it every day.
Drag that nigga down the goddamn courtroom.
Chance, I will do everything in my power to try to help others. And I am doing this for you, and I do not care if you do not believe me. And I love you, and I know you don't believe me, but I have to live with this every day.
Cruz showed no remorse or empathy for his actions and instead wore a red prison jumpsuit, glasses, and a mask. He even laughed at one point during the proceedings. Cruz's lack of emotion and his escape from the death penalty outraged and disappointed many of the victims' relatives.
Don't worry. He gonna get his when he get to jail. Don't worry about that. If y'all think he gonna be in jail living like shit is sweet, he won't.
For a different outcome.
He might wish he had a death
While it was
penalty.
clear that Cruz didn't care about the years he was going to spend in jail, his behavior in court was very different to that of 19-year-old Kandra Cook, a high school student who used a dating app to set up a robbery scheme with her boyfriend, Kendrick Bass. Cook lured Perry Nida, a Palm Coast man, to a secluded spot in South Daytona, where Bass and others attacked him and his friend, Emmanuel Purcell, who had accompanied him. Bass shot Purcell in the chest, but luckily he survived. However, what Cook did in the courtroom was even crazier. Cook was arrested and charged with principal to carjacking with a deadly weapon and principal to aggravated
You know what's crazy is, like, this is a kid, bro. But they be looking grown as hell when the mugshots come out. She look like she about 21 right here.
battery with a deadly weapon.
Guilty of all three charges, sentence you to 20 years in state prison.
Mama, shut up. That's your daughter. You raised her. That's your daughter.
Jacking with a deadly weapon.
20 years though. Should have been more.
With a deadly weapon.
Guilty of all 3 charges. Sentence you to 20 years in state prison.
Hey, and you know she ain't built like that, bro. You feel me? Half the people that's going to jail like this, I come from good homes. You know what I mean? And they be putting themselves in the wrong situations.
Cook was later allowed to withdraw her plea and cooperate with the state to testify against Bass, who was also charged with attempted murder. She entered a new plea deal and received a reduced sentence of 11 years in prison and 20 years of probation.
You got good in you, and I think you got potential. Don't lose sight of that.
She apologized to the victims and their families.
I just want to say that I'm sorry to that person had been shot, that I didn't even do you get shot. My boyfriend.
Oh, fuck all that. Cause you gotta think about how long it took for them to rob this person. Like, you guys took the time to set up a date now. Like, you guys took the time to have conversation with this man and get him comfortable enough to even meet you guys. So you guys put a lot of time and effort into this nasty ass shit.
However, this wasn't the only time a convict freaked out during their sentencing. Take, for example, the case of 18-year-old Donta Wright, a teenager who was involved in the murder of Jordan Klee, a high school student and athlete in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Wright and 2 other youths planned to rob Klee of his drugs, clothes, and shoes, but Klee fought back. Wright then shot him in the back of the head, killing him instantly. Just when you thought Wright couldn't sink any lower, his behavior in the courtroom will leave you stunned. Wright was arrested and charged with felony murder, armed robbery.
That's a troubled child right there. Look at his face. That's a troubled kid. He need his ass whooped.
Conspiracy to commit armed robbery, and felony firearm possession. The family of the victim read a very emotional victim impact statement. But this is how serious Wright felt about their pain.
Sincerely hope that whatever it was you wanted so badly that you felt the need to murder my son was worth the next at least 52 years of your continued existence. You won't get the luxury of raising your child because you took mine away.
When he was called to address the court,
Fuck, nigga.
Wright shocked everyone.
I'll tell y'all, I'll be home soon, or I'll be Keon. I love my family.
That hood shit ain't gonna work. That tough shit ain't gonna work, my guy. They gonna have a field day with you. For real. They will have a field day with you.
That's all you got to say.
Wright showed no remorse or empathy for his actions. His attitude in court shocked and angered the judge and the victim's family. The judge reserved some choice words.
And then, bro, you wasn't even sentenced yet, bro. And you got nerve to say, "I'll be home soon." The judge about to say, life sentence, nigga.
I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go to trial. And if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there. That's what I'm tempted to do.
Wright was eventually...
Y'all see how his face changed up? Look at his face. Talking all that tough shit. Now he's worried.
Rest of your life, that means you'll die.
Look at that face.
That's what I'm tempted to do.
Wright was eventually sentenced to 25 to 52 years in prison for his role in the murder.
He told me to hit her. I didn't want to, but I didn't want him hitting me, so I hit her.
It's nothing compared to the explosive actions of 13-year-old Antonio Barbo and 14-year-old Nathan Pop during their trial.
She said that she's gonna have to call Antonio's mom.
These kids be big as hell. This dude 13 years old. Why he so big? God damn.
Looking at me, and then he hit her in the head.
In September 2012, Antonio and Nathan conspired to and brutally murdered Antonio's great-grandmother, 76-year-old...
No, not Grams.
The kids bludgeoned her to death using a hammer and a hatchet, then stole her purse. What's even more chilling is that after committing this heinous crime, they used part of the stolen money to buy marijuana and pizza.
What? After offering y'all grandma, y'all treat yourself to marijuana and pizza. Like, lock these niggas up, bro.
We're gonna try
Lock
to
these niggas
scare
up.
her to get money and then use force if needed.
When you say use force if needed, was there a discussion about what type of force you might use?
An attack, I guess to kill.
During the legal proceedings, Antonio Barbo changed his plea from not guilty by reason of mental illness or defect to no contest, reaching an agreement with the prosecution. However, he was very remorseful.
I know I don't show my emotions much.
Well, they're gonna have to live with that too, for real.
But that doesn't mean I don't.
Nathan Pop also had some things to let off his chest.
I just want to say that I'm truly sorry for everything that happened.
However, despite his plea and expressions of remorse, he and Nathan were sentenced to life imprisonment. They were both remorseful as they left the court. However, just when you thought you'd seen it all, another convict surpasses Antonio and Nathan's wild courtroom display.
As I approached, I got closer. I saw her really sniffing at a particular area. So I pulled her back, and when I looked, kind of second-guessed myself. I thought I saw a dead body, but I wasn't too sure because, it was missing some limbs.
Enter 18-year-old Matthew Borgus, who is facing a murder charge for the beheading of 16-year-old Lee Valoria Paulino in December 2016. Borgus and Paulino were students at Lawrence High School and had reportedly smoked marijuana together in November 2016, which was the last time Paulino was seen alive. Paulino's body was discovered by a dog walker near the Merrimack River 2 weeks after he went missing. The details of the scene were chilling. Listen as the dog walker explained what he saw.
As I approached, I got closer. I saw her really sniffing at a particular area. So I pulled her back, and when I looked, kind of second-guessed myself. I thought I saw a dead body, but I wasn't too sure because, it was missing some limbs.
At first, Borgus was not considered a suspect, but the tide of evidence began pointing unmistakably in his direction. During the trial, the prosecutor, Jay Gabito, argued that there was an overwhelming amount of evidence incriminating Borgus. The allegations against Borgus were disturbing. It was suggested that he had stabbed Paulino multiple times before decapitating him. When the verdict was delivered, Borgus displayed an eerie lack of emotion.
Hey man, y'all need to be careful out here for real, bro. You can't trust your friends, bro. Always be alert, always be aware, man, for real. Niggas be sketchy out here. They'll backstab you. Look out, man. Look out for yourself.
Matthew Borgus is guilty on the charge of first-degree murder.
Eventually, he was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life imprisonment, with the possibility of parole only after serving 30 years. However shocking Borgus' reaction to his sentence was, how does it compare to the reaction of 16-year-old Dylan Schumacher, who was in Buffalo, New York courthouse?
I am a 16-year-old blonde. Probably all I have to do is cry in front of the jury, and they're going to feel sorry for me.
On charges of second-degree murder. In March 2013, Schumacher was babysitting his 18-year-old girlfriend's child while she went to work. He was
It ain't even your child, bro. Babysitting somebody else's child.
Inside a Springville home shared with his parents. Tragically, that evening, Schumacher beat the 23-month-old Austin to death. Following this horrifying incident, Schumacher was arrested and charged with the murder of the toddler, along with child abuse charges. Schumacher claimed he didn't intend to harm the child or cause his death, stating that he was trying to get the child to stop crying.
At 16,
What makes you think you gonna get a child to stop crying by hitting them? That makes them cry more, bro. Common sense. The fuck is you talking about?
you knew not to keep pounding your fist on that pillow with that little baby's head there. That little boy had to be terrified.
Had to be.
He had a hard time breathing, and then you repeatedly punched him so hard as to cause his death by bleeding on the brain.
If you thought Schumacher would be remorseful for his crimes, you're wrong. As Schumacher entered the courtroom for his sentencing, he couldn't even get settled behind the defense table before breaking into tears. That's right, Schumacher expressed how sorry he was for his actions.
I take back what was done. I wish I could. I would give my life for Austin.
However, it was all an act, and the judge wasn't fooled. The judge
Ain't going
pointed
for
out
that.
a recorded phone call between Schumacher and his mother.
The record will show that you admitted that on July 23rd, 2013, in a phone call to your mother from the holding center, you stated,
No.
from the court reporter, I am a 16-year-old blonde. Probably all I have to do is cry in front of the jury, and they're going to feel sorry for me.
Despite his second attempt at an
No way he said that shit. Meaningless, bruh. That's just some meaningless shit right there. Crazy.
Despite his second attempt at an apology, Schumacher was handed the maximum punishment of 25 years to life in prison.
Put him in there, coach.
This sentence was later modified to 18 years to life. However, while some may attribute Schumacher's reaction to juvenile delinquency, this is 18-year-old.
Yeah, you thought crime was gonna work.
Was facing charges of murder in the Milwaukee County Courthouse. Jackson and his friend were out to rob when they crossed paths with 21-year-old Nathan Potter, a University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee college student, heading to his apartment. The friends approached Potter, demanding money, but Potter was only a student and had no money. When Jackson realized Potter had no cash to offer, he shot him, killing him. After the murder, Jackson fled to Mississippi.
You mad because I ain't got no money? Now you gonna shoot me? What?
Mississippi, but was ultimately arrested thanks to a tip from his uncle.
We don't have enough time to think about a whole lot of things now, because you just can't take nobody's life. You know, that's just wrong.
As if killing someone at 18 was not outrageous enough, Jackson's actions in court were even more dramatic. During his trial, Jackson's actions in the courtroom drew attention. Here, Jackson is gesturing towards the victim's family, totally unremorseful about his actions. Jackson was quickly escorted out of the courtroom, but as he was leaving, Jackson flashed a disturbing smile toward the grieving family. Now, at his sentencing, Jackson's mother had an opportunity to address the court.
When I saw it on the news, I even cried. I'm like, oh my God, I can't imagine what that mother is going through. I never had a clue that my child had anything to do with it. My son is not a monster. He is not a monster.
When
Mamas is always saying shit like, you don't know your child, bro. He only show you what he want, but it's like once they hit their teens and shit, they hide a lot of things, bro. They hide a lot of things.
Jackson was given the opportunity to speak. Jackson surprised everyone.
Apologize for my behaviors. Please don't take my life from me.
That's right. In a last-ditch attempt to save himself, Jackson pleaded for leniency and offered an apology for his actions. Now it is time for the judge to deliver his sentence.
He could.
We need to protect the community, which I also fear for with Mr. Jackson, and I am going to sentence Mr. Jackson to life imprisonment without possibility for extended supervision. I know that that is something that is reserved for the most serious of cases, and
Jackson was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. But when Jackson heard that he would be spending the rest of his life in prison, he couldn't contain his emotions. Deputies had to intervene.
Hey, that boy is
restraining
done.
Jackson as his anger flared. Watch again as Jackson pushed this cop over. Fortunately,
Man, that dramatic ass shit. It's a whole woman, bro. Duh, he can pick her up. The question is, why is she the one handling him? There's a whole man right here that could be fucking handling him.
this cop was able to wrestle him to the ground, while this officer here unbuckled his pepper spray and put it to work. Amidst the chaos, a member of Jackson's family has a shocking remark for the Potter family. Eventually, Jackson was let out of the court to spend the rest of his life behind bars. But Nathan Potter's parents had a few things to say.
Our little girl was afraid. She was afraid that he was going to try and kill one of us.
I hope as he spends the rest of his life in jail.
Jackson's friend and accomplice pleaded guilty to acting as the lookout in the crime and received a 12-year sentence. Despite the terrible behavior of Shondell's family.
Stupid nigga. You the lookout. You stood around and just looked out, pussy boy. You should have just stayed where you was. You should have stayed home.
In court, the uncle who tipped off the police maintained his stance despite threats. However, this wasn't the only time a convicted kid freaked out during his sentencing.
Your son is the victim and the killer is your granddaughter. Can you talk about that?
She's not my granddaughter.
Take, for example, the case of 16-year-old
She look young as hell.
18-year-old Aaron Guerrero.
Where did the evil come
young that was bred into a soul that murders their own father.
Who are facing multiple charges, including murder with a deadly weapon, arson, robbery with a deadly weapon, conspiracy to conduct robbery, and multiple counts of fraudulent use of credit or debit cards at the Regional Justice Center in Las Vegas. The teenage couple murdered Sierra's father, 45-year-old Daniel Halseth. They stabbed him over 60 times and attempted to burn his body and
I just don't understand, bro. Like, what's the point? Why are you stabbing this man 60 times? It don't take that many stabs to kill somebody. I wouldn't know. I'm just saying. You feel me? I'm going off of assumption. 60. Then you plan on burning this man? What?
house. Then they took his debit card and fled to Salt Lake City, indulged themselves, and opened a YouTube channel where they callously shared information like this.
Day 3 after murdering somebody.
Whoa! Don't put that on the camera.
Kids be half retarded, bro. We are parents. That's what we need to check in with. Let's check in with the parents, see what they got going on. You feel me?
The teenagers dated in 2020, but their parents did not approve of the relationship, forcing them to end it. On April 9th, 2021, Daniel's lifeless body was discovered in the garage of his Las Vegas home. The teenagers were subsequently apprehended in Salt Lake City. Throughout the court proceedings, the behavior of Sierra was starkly different from that of Aaron. Aaron Guerrero seemed to be emotionally breaking down. When he was allowed to speak, he had this to say.
I ask for forgiveness as I get sentenced today, and I hope it brings you a little peace.
Meanwhile, Sierra Halseth appeared disinterested, bored, and detached from the gravity of the situation. She claimed that her father had physically and sexually abused her.
He locks me in place and starts pushing me and hitting me around.
Eventually, they were both found guilty by District Judge Chiara Jones.
55 days credit for time served.
You thought that shit was gonna work. No. You probably lying on your daddy anyway. He probably ain't do none of that bullshit. Don't speak of him while he dead. He can't defend himself.
Total aggregate sentence of life in the Nevada Department of Corrections with the possibility of parole up to 22 years of good service.
And ordered to pay $5,000 in restitution. For Sierra's grandmother, a lot has changed.
You're in a tough spot because your son is the victim and the killer is your granddaughter. Can you talk about that?
If you thought these reactions were
That's
shocking,
sad, bro.
you'd be amazed at this video.
Don't make no sense.
The top 5 biggest judge explosions.
Alright, you guys. Thank you guys for watching, man. If you guys new to the channel, you guys like, comment, subscribe.